Yo, Beth. That shit crazy.
On a Saturday, it's All Even with your boy Barry Grant. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at All Even Podcast. You can listen to the show on SoundCloud as well as YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, and wherever you find your podcasts available. We have a big show today, lots to get into. We're going to speak about those Brooklyn Nets and see what's going on with them. And then I have a special guest on for Phone a Friend. We're going to talk about what's going on in the sporting world in all sports, baseball, basketball, football, and then the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week. So let's just jump right into it. You ever had that cut that just kept bleeding? You know, you trip over something or you step on something and you apply pressure, you try to put a Band-Aid on it, it just keeps bleeding, It's a slow bleed, but it's annoying. You can't do anything. You just got to hope that at some point it stops. You hope that it stops, because if it doesn't stop, you're going to die, right? I say this and I bring this up because it compares to the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are one of the most dynamic basketball teams in all of basketball, but they can't stop a nosebleed on defense. They just lost back-to-back games to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Colin Sexton went nuts on them for 2 games. This is the issue that they're going to have going forward. They have no one left on this roster to be able to defend anybody. DeAndre Jordan is a shell of himself. They really need to limit his minutes. Maybe they need to get the young guy Nick Claxton some more burn. But this is the risk that you run getting rid of all your depth. For James Harden at that, I wouldn't have done it. I would not have done it, because what they've built in Brooklyn over these last 5 years has really been special. Everybody has really, really appreciated the job that Sean Marks has done. But now you're back to square one. You're back to no team. To put all of this pressure on a first-time head coach, Steve Nash, is really unfair. You know, the expectations were high to start with when you had Kyrie and KD. But now you put in James Harden, you expect this team to be in the NBA Finals. What if they don't get there? What if James Harden does his James Harden thing in the playoffs and comes up short? Kyrie gets hurt because he always does that too. He's never available. And KD's the only one left holding the bag with nobody left to help him. What happens? Was it a waste? You can actually say that yeah, it was a waste because of what you gave up for it. You see, the thing is, the Lakers, when they gave up Lonzo, B.I., Josh Hart, all of those draft picks, they knew that they had to win quickly. And they did that. They did it in the offseason, and they won the championship that year. It paid off. For the Nets, they need to win a title this year for it to make sense in my head. Because next year, teams will get better, new guys will be coming up, and the Nets will be a year older. KD will be a year older with a repaired Achilles. Kyrie will be a year older with those bulky knees that he has. Harden will be a year older. So what are you looking forward to? Are you guaranteed to think or know that veterans are going to sign for the minimum to play here in Brooklyn? Is that what we're expecting? That is going to be the LeBron James effect or the Miami Heat effect? Is that going to be the situation where guys are just going to be jumping on the BK bandwagon? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't believe that guys are looking at this particular situation as the must-see destination to go to. So if they don't win this year, there's more pressure on them to win it next year. And then their window of opportunity to win a championship gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's over. Is this what you gave up all of those assets and players for? Was it worth it? The only thing right now that is in the Nets' favor is time. It's only, 15, 16 games into the season. There's a lot of time for them to figure it out. However, there's a lot of time for it to go awfully, awfully wrong as well. So, we'll see. This is why, from day one, I call them the Big Top Nets. It's a circus. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's entertaining. I'll give them that. It's very entertaining that 3 guys can be able to score 110 points in a game and still lose. Very entertaining. Before they made this trade, defense was a concern to me because you got a head coach that never believed in defensive concepts. You have Amari Stoudemire, who never played defense in his life. You got, Udoka and Jacques Vaughn, who have defensive principles, yes. But now you have Mike D'Antoni on the staff. So you got all of these guys that spree offense. Oh, we got to push the ball. We got to make tempo great. Well, nobody's talking about defense. You've seen it. This is what you're going to see the entire season. They're going to be able to score a ton of points, and they're going to give up a ton of points. They'll score 135. They'll give up 137. That's the Nets. That's the Nets for you, because all of the points that those guys can score, that big 3 can be able to put up, that bench is awful. Awful. I couldn't name 5 players off that bench, and I know basketball. So you can imagine the casual fan. They don't know who the hell is on the Nets right now. And that's what the entire NBA is looking at. Okay, cool. You guys can go get a bucket. We're going to attack everybody else. We're going to force everybody else to score because y'all can't score all the points. You can try, but you can't score all the points. Somebody on that bench, some guy is going to have to step up. Some guy is going to have to say, hey, I want to be a part of this magic too. I got to prove myself. Do they have one of those guys on the bench? I don't know. It's too early to tell. So we'll see what the buyout market also brings. But man, the Big Top circus is in full effect. Coming up after the break, Phone a Friend with my arch nemesis. On a Saturday, it's all even. I've had so many people tell me that Anchor is great. Anchor is this, Anchor is that. But I have to tell you, man, those people were right. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your own podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Why wait? Get at it now. Welcome back, y'all. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Phone a Friend.
Call him up, 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 call him up. Competing for a reason, trying to stay undefeated, yeah. Call him up, 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 call him up. Biggest game of the season, don't lie, we're all leaving, yeah.
Every superhero needs their villain. I have mine. I've known this man for over 20 years of my life, and we don't see eye to eye on much. It's probably about 5% of things that we agree on. My
Very
man,
small percentage.
my guy, Alberto Perez, Afreshh. What's up, my man?
What up, brother? I'm happy to be here, man. It's a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been dreading this day. Okay, I've been dreading this day.
Some days I look forward to it. Some days I'm like, I don't know. He might have me on this one.
But
I'm happy we finally got to do this, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's talk about what you have going on. Aspiring, film director. You definitely want to do something in movies. So, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been in the creative world now for about 15 years. Wow, that to say that, I guess
you old.
Age
yeah, you old
a little bit. Yeah, but Yeah, so I've recently in the last couple years realized that, you know, even though I've loved that industry, where my passion lays is in the film industry, and I've been slowly making my way to that industry, and hopefully this is the year that we finally get in there.
Yeah, finally launch off, of course. So like
Yeah.
what type of, so is there a certain type of film that you really want to make? Like, you know, obviously there's so many different movies out there, so
Oh
many
man.
different genres. Like, what is your favorite genre of film?
Anything that Martin Scorsese does, and Tarantino.
Right.
Those two guys are probably the two that influenced me the most. And Alfred Hitchcock too. I love how he tells stories back in the '60s, things that were so simple and didn't need too much, and he would tell a mysterious story so well. And I
Yeah.
think like we need some of that,
Okay, so
back. You know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll be kind of going in that direction. Like, you'll take a little bit of Scorsese, you'll take a little bit of Hitchcock, you'll
Yeah.
take a little bit of Tarantino, because, you know, with
Oh,
Tarantino, I
sure.
always love his films because he focused so much on the dialogue of film. And
Yes. Yes.
that's what's missing in film nowadays, is that, you know, you don't need all these special effects. If you have
You
great
don't.
dialogue, if you have a great story, great plot, great actors, you can have one of the best movies of all time. You don't need all of these things. You know what I'm saying? And I that's what I want film to go back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I love about Tarantino is that he could take a true story and make it his own. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not even a true story, but a fantasy story. So you look at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He took
Right.
the ending of that Manson family and turned it another way. You look at Django, a slave that went out and became, and it's a Midwestern film too.
Right.
He mixes all things he loves and tells beautiful stories, man. I love Tarantino.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely agree. So those are films that I love. And of course, Scorsese films, they're
Yeah.
always good. You know, they always have a plot. Everything always works together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can literally watch a Scorsese movie and just be like, yeah, that was a great movie, and be fine. Like, you'll have no issue with any part of the movie. You know what I mean?
To me, there's nothing that he does wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing that he could do wrong.
Right. So I guess so you'll probably be the next Scorsese.
Hey, man, let's put that out there in the air now. Hopefully.
You have to.
That'd
Man.
be awesome.
Yeah. So, my man, let's get into the things that we don't agree on. Is sports.
Yeah, if it's something besides film that I love, it's sports.
Right.
You know, I could talk,
you are a
get riled up on this stuff.
You are a maniac fanatic. Trust me, you are the definition of fanatic. So, but, you know, let's talk about NFL first. Obviously, that's the biggest story of the weekend. We have championship weekend going on. You know, we got the Chiefs against the Bills. Patrick Mahomes is back. He's cleared concussion protocol. I really don't know how he did, but obviously it's Patrick Mahomes. He's going to play. So, what are your thoughts on that game?
It's the AFC Championship game. I think that he was going to be playing no matter what.
Exactly.
You know, it's part of me is just like, I hope these players are really thinking about their health, but being that he is playing, I'm going to assume that, he is 100% good. And this is going to be something because the Bills are riding a wave.
Yeah.
That I think they are capable of beating the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I actually have the Bills going to the Super Bowl because they have everything working. I call them the holy trinity of football. They have great ownership. They got a good coach and they got a good quarterback. And when you have that, it's very hard to lose consistently. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, listen, the Chiefs have that. So you have two teams that actually have the same type of formula, but the Bills right now were just riding high. And I don't know if the Chiefs can be able to stop that train.
One thing about the NFL is momentum is big,
right?
Especially in the playoffs. Momentum is huge. So the momentum that the Bills have right now, it's insane. I mean, I don't know how careful Mahomes will be.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, but I mean, he's top 2 quarterback in the league.
Right.
You can never count this guy out. This is like how many times we've counted Tom Brady out of games.
Oh my goodness.
So again, these are the Chiefs, a great team, a championship team. So, I mean, my head says the Chiefs will win, but my heart wants the Bills to win. And I don't hate Kansas City.
Right.
I love Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But I think those fans in Buffalo have been waiting for this for so long. And to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, imagine that.
Right. I mean, listen, you go back to the Jim Kelly days, 4 straight Super Bowls, the heartache, the pain, what was it? The Music City thing, the lateral play that ended up putting the Titans in, like, all of these things happen to the Bills, and it's like, it may be their time. And I'm with you. I root for the Bills. Like, I really do think that they deserve to get to the Super Bowl. So if I had to tell you to pick a team to win and pick a score, I need both. Give me that.
To pick a team to win. So again, I said, my head says the Chiefs, but my heart wants the Bills to win. But if I had to put my money on it, I would say 35-27 Chiefs.
Wow, 35-27 Chiefs. Okay, we're going to see how that holds up. I got Bills winning the game 31-24. They win by a touchdown, and they head to the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens with that. But the most interesting matchup of the weekend is Brady versus Rodgers, Bucks and Packers at Green Bay. They are in Lambeau Field. What are your thoughts on this game? Did you actually think that Brady and the Bucks would actually be here? And who do you think is going to win?
This is a gift to sports fans to get Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, especially so late in their careers. Again, I said that we count Tom Brady out too many times. And I love Aaron Rodgers. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers guy. Man, this is harder than the Bills and Chiefs. Like, I don't know who has the upper hand here. These are the two of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game.
Yeah, I agree.
And they could take over a game easily. Wow. But I'm gonna say the Packers gonna take this one.
Listen, I am with you 100%. I want the Packers to win. I'm picking the Packers to win. I need the Packers to win this game. I do not want to see Tom Brady in another Super Bowl. I'm sorry. But we're going to be analytical here. If we're going to talk about both teams, the Bucks, they're not going to have Antonio Brown. That's a big blow to them.
Yeah.
Also, the Packers, they have everything going right now. Their offensive line has been playing well. I thought that when Bakhtiari went down, they would have a problem. But Aaron Jones has been running the ball well. He had a big game last week. And, they have a 3-headed monster now. They got Williams. They got A.J. Dillon. They got Aaron Jones. They got 3 guys that they can be able to throw at you with different skill sets. That's a problem. So everybody was always talking about, the Packers don't have great wide receivers. Yeah, they don't. They have one guy, but they also have 3 running backs that can be able to give you different looks. So that's advantage Packers. The other advantage Packers is the fact that right now, I think the Packers defense is playing really, really well. They're playing phenomenal football right now. And the fact that there's no Antonio Brown, the big playability, okay, you still have the big guys on the outside. You still got Godwin. You still got Edwards. But I think that they can be able to game plan a little better now, knowing that there's not a third guy that can be able to take the cover off the ball. You know what I mean? Like, he can't beat you over the top. The little guy Miller, he's not beating you over the top. So they can be able to key in on Evans, key in on Godwin, put some pressure on Brady. And when Brady gets that pressure, he's a different quarterback. He's a below average quarterback. So, I like both teams. Both teams are playing well right now. Yeah. But if you have to pick one, you got to go Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, because Aaron Rodgers is my MVP for the regular season. And I think it's his time. And I think the Packers last year, they went 13-3. Everybody was like, nobody really believes in the Packers. Aaron Rodgers looks washed. But it was year 1 in that offense with Matt LaFleur. Now, year 2 in the offense, you see that Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers. So, there's no regression on his side. on Brady's part, Brady's had a phenomenal season. 40 touchdowns for a 50-year-old man that can't run. Like, it's like, you got to give him respect.
Something else.
He's something else, man. He continues to win. He didn't have an impressive game last week against the Saints, but when they needed to score, they scored touchdowns. That's basically what happened.
So that's the beautiful thing about this game is that we have two quarterbacks that when they need to score, they will score.
Right.
So that game is going to go back and forth, I believe. Or it could be a defensive game because Tampa Bay's defense is not too bad either.
Exactly.
But that's a gift for us right now to be able to watch these two guys, man.
Yeah. So I guess we agree that Packers will win this game and go to the Super Bowl. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? You have Chiefs. You have Chiefs Packers. I have Bills Packers. Who wins the Super Bowl for you?
So being that we have Rodgers versus Brady, and that's great. How much better can it get than Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers?
Right.
The old versus the future. Not even just the past, because Aaron Rodgers is the past versus the future. And so if it comes down to those two, I'm gonna go with Andy Reid and Kansas City Chiefs and for them to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
You are betting against Aaron. What is wrong with you, my man?
It's Andy Reid. What he did last week showed me that, you know what, this guy's just he knows what he's doing. I don't know anyone in their right mind would.
But they played the Browns. They played the Browns. Come on.
Yeah, but with the backup quarterback.
But listen, they didn't look too good in the second half.
Seal the game.
I hear you. I got you.
So you got these two great quarterbacks. So I'm gonna lean towards coaching in the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna go with Andy Reid.
Okay, that's fair. Coaching.
So that's who I would.
Yeah, coaching does give you the upper hand in the Super Bowl. So that's not a bad pick. I'm not gonna hate on you too much for that one. But I got Bills Packers. Nobody's beating Aaron Rodgers this year. They're gonna win the Super Bowl. 10 years removed from his last Super Bowl. Phenomenal. Aaron Rodgers is still the GOAT. I don't care about no Brady. Brady. All right, cool. Brady's all right, but Aaron Rodgers is my GOAT. He's my GOAT. I don't care what nobody wants.
I love Aaron Rodgers, man. Again, I love him, but I can't bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, man.
Right. I agree with you, man. So let's talk a little 49ers football, man. You're a big 49ers fan. What do you think that the team needs to do to kind of get back to where they have to be?
Trade for Watson. Simple.
That's
what we need to do.
You don't have the assets though, man.
I mean, they're gonna ask us for Bosa probably.
Yes,
but and the amount of picks, I think we have. I forget how many first rounders we have, but I would give him. I would for Watson. It's tough to give up Bosa, but something we got to come up with.
So
something.
you would give up Bosa and 3 first-round picks? That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
I don't want them to give up Bosa, man. Whatever they can do to get this, we got to come up with something. Yeah. What is it? A McDonald's bag full of money? They can hand them one of those.
Under the table, right? Give him $20 million under the table.
They got to figure it out. And I know he's been flirting with the idea. Also, he's been flirting with the idea of the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I think we need to do is improve. Even though Jimmy is not a great quarterback, I don't think he's a quarterback that could win us a championship. He was solid. He led us there, but he had to improve.
Right.
And there's a lot of room for improvement for him. But if you have Watson there, I think that's we're a contender immediately.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Watson is that
because with all the injuries we had this past year.
Yeah. Not good.
Right? With all the injuries the 49ers have had this past year, it's for them to still compete.
Yeah.
shows that this team is a good team.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I thought that when they got all those injuries, they were just gonna fold the tent and pack it up. But they actually played hard, man. That defense, they got healthy all together towards the end of the season, and they played well. So they're not that far away. So I'm definitely with you. I think that if you can get Watson, go get Watson. But if they can be able to trade Jimmy for some, maybe a third or fourth round pick, maybe get one of these young quarterbacks and give Nick Mullins the job right now so he can be a transitional quarterback for the young guy to be able to step in there. That's not a bad idea either, because Mullins is not a bad quarterback. He's not terrible. He's not great, but he's not terrible. He knows how to run that West Coast offense. He gets the ball out quick. So you can be able to have a decent offense with him. I think the problem with the 49ers that I see is that their running back situation is a little cloudy. They have a lot of guys that they use. They need two guys that they can be able to rely on. All of the guys that they have are injury prone. And if you have all your running backs that can't stay on the field, what's the point? They got to go find themselves. They probably have to go find themselves a young running back in this draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the 12th pick this year. I mean, we definitely need a running back, because you're absolutely right that it's been a cloudy situation with who our lead is, and we're using a lot of guys. So they definitely need to think about drafting a running back that could play the everyday, not every down back, but first three down backs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, like Mostert, I like Mostert, but if they can be able to get a complimentary younger back to have that 1-2 punch, I think that's good, because I think Mostert, he's a good running back, but he's not used to being an every down back. And you saw the fact that every time he gets that opportunity, he gets hurt. So maybe they have to kind of, give him less work, and that he'll be more effective that way. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%.
Giving him the entire load. Yeah.
I agree 100%. So that's probably what because our defense is good.
Yeah.
I think we have some solid offense out there. I mean, Kittle is one of the best,
Top
not
two.
only tight ends, just in the league.
Yeah.
And so I would hope that they are looking at a running back, and hope that they are looking at Watson, and try to do whatever it takes to get this guy in San Francisco.
All right, so let's talk more about Watson, because I have a different take, man, because things are a little shaky in Houston right now. Watson doesn't trust the organization.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with Mike Guido the other day, and he was saying that the fact that they promised him that he would be in the that they would keep him abreast of to who's going to be the GM, and then they hire this guy Nick Caserio, whatever his name is, behind his back. Now he doesn't trust the organization. But for me, I kind of look at it a little different. And here's my angle. It's like Watson is the franchise. They gave him the money. They are admitting that they made a mistake and said, hey, we know that we gave Bill O'Brien all of this power. He was the head coach, and then we gave him GM duties as well. He had full autonomy. It was the wrong move to make. We fired his ass. Now it's time for us to kind of do things the right way. Get a GM. Let that GM hire a coach, and then you're our franchise quarterback. Let's go ahead and play some ball. You know what I mean? So I look at it that way, and then I also look at it like Deshaun Watson is a talented player. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league. Everybody knows that. But I just feel that why should a quarterback that doesn't have any rings on his finger have that much say in the organization of what they do in their front office? What are your thoughts on that? Because thing is, like, if Tom Brady said he wants Terrell Owens to come out of retirement, Terrell Owens is going to be a buck. Yeah, because he has that cachet. If Drew Brees wanted to say, hey, I need this guy, Drew Brees gets that guy. If Aaron Rodgers wants this guy, because they have cachet. Watson doesn't have that right now. And, as a quarterback, as a young quarterback, you have to put some confidence into your organization that, listen, they made some mistakes. They're trying to correct those mistakes, because at the end of the day, remember, the Texans haven't been terrible his entire career. They made the playoffs a couple of times since he's been here. So they're not that bad. The fact that Bill O'Brien was a dickhead. That's the problem. Like, you know, he was in his feelings and he traded DeAndre Hopkins because of it. And then they said, man, he traded DeAndre Hopkins for that. Yeah, we got to get him out of here. We got to get him out of here. So they've fixed the mistake. They're trying to go about business the right way. And now, say if they hire a Eric Bieniemy or Jim Caldwell, that's a very good hire for Deshaun Watson. So why wouldn't he give them a chance to kind of correct their mistake?
So from what I've heard, there's a lot of things that has been going on in Houston that's not out in the light.
Okay.
So they saying that the organization is toxic over there.
Yeah.
So what you said, I agreed with until I heard these things. And to me, I mean, he tried to play without his best receiver, who they traded. That I still don't understand why.
Bill O'Brien.
So I guess there's a bunch of things that just, you know, laid on top of another. And Watson is to the point that it's unrepairable.
Right.
And you know, when a player gets like that, as James Harden just did, there's no coming back from that. Yeah,
I agree with, but we talking about football here. Like, when do you ever see a quarterback that's 25 years old, the franchise quarterback for an organization, get traded? It doesn't happen. It does not happen. So it's like, you know, he took the money. The Texans really don't have to trade him. So how much is he willing to bet? Is he willing to sit out a full season to get what he wants?
I don't think he's willing to sit out a full season, but then do you want someone that in the locker room that with that type of situation, the morale will go down. It could affect the entire team.
That is true too, but you know, think about it from their side of point of view. They're never going to get equal value for Deshaun Watson.
No, not at all.
Because you know, you think about it, like organizations, they draft quarterbacks with the hope of getting a guy like Deshaun Watson. You know, leadership qualities. He's not in trouble, talented. He just has the entire package. Now you're trying to tell me that you don't want to be here? Like, come on, man. Like, I always remember John Elway. John Elway got drafted, you know, to Denver, and Denver was a terrible team. They were a terrible team, terrible organization. Everything was just, it wasn't working the right way, and he made it work. He made it work. He led, before he won those 2 Super Bowls, he led 3 other teams to the Super Bowl that shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there. And Deshaun Watson, to me, has some John Elway in him. Like that type of talent. So it's like, I just believe he can be able to turn this franchise around. You know, there's some you know, things are cyclical. Like, franchises never stay dominant and they never stay bad for too long unless you really have poor ownership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just believe that the Texans can be able to turn this thing around. I really do. Like, of course, they don't have a first-round pick for the next couple years, but there's so much talent in this draft that you can be able to get a difference maker wide receiver in the 2nd and 3rd rounds this year. So if you can get that, Deshaun Watson life changes in Houston, because what did they finish? I think they were 4-12 this year, or 5-11. They lost a lot of close games. They could have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, you know, are they that far away? And even if they are dysfunctional, winning cures a lot, and you know that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So I'm just hoping that as a quarterback, he can kind of like come back a little bit and say, I'm going to try to give this one more chance, because, you know, they took a chance on him when he, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, they're taking Deshaun Watson at number 2. Why would they take just like, no, he's the guy. They wanted him to be the guy. They gave him the money to be the guy. Now he has to kind of get out of his feelings a little bit and let them do their jobs and put this team back together.
So are you saying that if you was Houston, you're not going to trade Deshaun Watson?
No, I ain't trading his ass. Nope.
So you'll take the chance of him sitting out, or him being a toxic player in the locker room?
Yeah, I would do it.
I don't think.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I don't think the relationship is repairable.
Really?
From outside looking in. he's not returning their calls. They told him that he was going to be involved in every hire. They hire without his, opinion on something. At this point, it's like now they're going to tell you, no. They're going to tell you what they told you before and they didn't do. Okay. Should he trust? See, so when you lose that trust, you're basically telling yourself, all right, I'm going to give you one more chance. Then mess around, he catches an injury. Then they're looking for the next quarterback.
Okay, I see that point. I've seen worse situations for players and they repair it. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah. The Texans, to me, of course, okay, they're a dumpster fire. Cool. But, man, the Bengals, they're a bad team. They're a bad organization. There's a lot of bad organizations around. Like Matthew Stafford, you think he don't want to leave Detroit? Like, Detroit is terrible.
Man, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how he stayed so damn long.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are in bad situations, but they know that they are the leaders of the team. Like if Deshaun Watson does this, I just look at things from a ripple effect aspect. Like if your best player is behaving this way, what's going to happen with the other players? How are they going to be able to like come back from this? Now you're just opening the floodgates for everybody to have an opinion about the organization. So they're going to have to get rid of everybody now?
Well, that goes back to Jamal Adams and the Jets. He got his ass out of there.
Yeah.
It's a thing that's been, I don't think it happens as often in the NFL, but it happens. It happens. So, I mean, I don't know what it is. With it might be because the years of your career, you don't have too many years.
Yeah.
The career average in the NFL.
But quarterbacks do.
Yeah, quarterbacks do. That's why it's so rare to see that coming from a quarterback. Where it's like, I want to be traded, get me out of here. I can't remember another guy that I remember doing that.
I can't recall, and that's why it's a big shock to me. I think that's why I'm a little slow to accepting what the fate might be, because you don't see this happen. Like, what I'm saying? You don't see a quarterback of this age and this caliber of player get traded. So it's like, I'm like, they'll figure it out. He's a franchise guy. He'll figure it out. But maybe you're right. Maybe it is, irreparable and they have to just part ways. I don't know. But I just hope that he can just kind of take a little step back and say, hey, maybe I can be the guy to be able to take this franchise out of the dumps. You know what I mean? Because that makes winning all the better. Like when you can be able to take this bad situation and reverse it on his head, you're the man. You're the man.
Yeah, that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers did.
Exactly.
Didn't get him any help, and he just said, all right. With the past draft, when they got the quarterback instead of some help for him,
right?
Look where he got him at now. That's incredible. That looks so much better on him than it does on the organization.
Exactly. Like he defied his own organization. So, I look at it from that standpoint, like defy your own organization. Prove to them that you are one of the best quarterbacks in this league and they can't win without you. So whatever, if you come back another season and throw another 4,800 yards, 40 touchdowns and 6 picks, then they're going to have to start getting their act together. And, that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes an organization needs to be shocked into doing the right thing. And maybe this GM hire is the perfect hire. Who knows? But you got to give him a chance. You had Bill O'Brien all of these years. He was terrible. Yeah. He traded Larry Tunsil for nothing. You know what I mean? Or it's just, or got no, they had Tunsil and they traded him, or they got Tunsil from the Dolphins. Was that it? Yeah, they traded for Tunsil, right?
I think that was this year or last year.
I think it was a couple years ago, because the Dolphins have the Texans pick.
You're right.
Yeah,
they'll be getting it back if I heard that Miami was one of the places that were entertaining that thought.
Right. So I think that's what happened. Yeah, the Texans traded for Tunsil and gave up all of those picks. So
that's when they sent Stills over there. They gave up
exactly.
two first rounders.
2 first rounders. Yeah. you know, they're trying to correct the mistake, man. But we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to the coaching hires in the NFL, man. Excuse me, I'm about to say Nick Saban. Urban Meyer is the new head coach in Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that Urban Meyer can be able to change that culture? Can they start winning because they're gonna have the golden goose, Trevor Lawrence, with the #1 pick?
Like, for something tells me that Trevor Lawrence is going to be a good quarterback, but not what people are saying about. They calling him what, the next Andrew Luck?
Yeah.
That's a tall mountain to climb. To have that well, I guess it's not so much pressure being that you're playing in Jacksonville,
right?
But I think Urban Meyer is a good hire, especially for a young quarterback.
Yeah.
But what was Urban Meyer's record? Because he coached in the NFL previously.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, this is his first.
Or am I confusing him for somebody else?
You're confusing him with Nick Saban.
Nick Saban, yeah, I am.
Yeah. Urban Meyer coached at Ohio State. He coached in Florida. So he's won some national championships. He's a great coach. But a lot of people are saying that he took this opportunity because Trevor Lawrence is here. And of course he did.
Yeah.
But I look at Urban Meyer like another guy in another sport in our history. You know who Urban Meyer reminds me of? And you're gonna perk up when I tell you this.
Who's that?
He reminds me of Larry Brown. Larry Brown was a guy that came from college and bounced around a lot because Larry Brown got bored. Larry Brown was a guy that was comfortable taking a bad team and reversing their trend. He would take a bad organization, bad team, bad program, and make them a national contender. When he got to the NBA, he did the same thing. He did it with the Spurs. He did it with the Sixers. He did it with the Pistons. So this is a guy that always feels that he needs a challenge. And Urban Meyer is the same thing. He's been a lot of places in his coaching career, you know, due to health reasons he had to retire or due to the fact that he just wanted another challenge. This to me feels a little bit like Larry Brown, where he's going to the NFL now after all of these years to challenge himself to see if he can be able to take a dumpster fire organization like Jacksonville and reverse their fate.
Yes.
And at the same time, we're not going to see Urban Meyer stay here that long. I don't see Urban Meyer being here for a decade. He may stay here for 3 or 4 years and then move on because that's what he does. So
that's the same thing I said. 3 years that I was thinking he was going to be out here.
Right. So that's why I say that he's a little bit like Larry Brown.
I see that comparison. I agree. I can definitely see that comparison.
Yeah. The other interesting hire I saw was the guy that got the job in Atlanta, Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Titans.
Yes.
I scratched my head on that one because, you know, I thought Raheem Morris did a great job being the interim coach.
Yep.
I felt that Raheem Morris deserved that job, and they go ahead and go get the offensive coordinator for a team that had Derrick Henry as their running back. I could coach Derrick Henry if I had Derrick Henry as my running back. So it's like, you see, like, how do you feel about I just asked a general question. Do you feel that the NFL still feels a little bit like they're behind the times in regards to hiring black candidates for head coaching jobs?
1,000%.
Elaborate.
Josh McCown got an interview. Do I need to say more? Wasn't he playing last year?
Right, he was playing last year.
Josh McCown got an interview.
Yeah.
And Eric is still out there.
Eric Bieniemy is still out there, yes.
That is that's insane to think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things the NFL needs to do. And I mean, I'm one of those that believe you can't force an owner to hire a coach that they don't want.
Right.
But
That's
come
another
on.
thing too. Like with the Rooney Rule, I think that they should get rid of that.
Yeah.
I think they should get rid of that. Yeah.
You can't do because you can't do that.
Right.
In any industry in the world, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well,
what I would like to see is more black ownership.
Yeah, exactly. More executives. Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Like that. That's why I like what Detroit did. Detroit hired, Brad Holmes to be their executive in the front office, which is a great thing. GM. So you maybe guys that are coming along, I think he just hired a head coach. He hired what's his name? Dave Campbell or Dan Campbell as a head coach. But, if Campbell doesn't work out, I think other black candidates for head coach will feel a little bit more comfortable going into Detroit, getting an interview, and they'll say, you know what, I actually feel that I have a chance to really be heard and have a chance to get this job. If I don't get the job, whatever, but I still feel that my chances of getting hired is a little bit more fair. Like, can you see that angle? Can you see that side of it?
No, absolutely, of course.
Yeah. So it's just, I always get a little bit frustrated around this time because there's so many good candidates out there that don't get opportunities, and it is what it is, man. Like, they had an interview with Eric Bieniemy the other day, and he was like, listen, I want to be a head coach. It's an honor to be considered for jobs and stuff like that, but my job is to get the Chiefs ready and all that stuff. And it's like, he's saying all the right things, but at the end of the day, we all know that Eric Bieniemy wants to be a head coach in this league,
and he deserves to be.
And he deserves to be a head coach in this league. So it pisses me off, but the fact that there's a lot more black executives in the NFL now, I'm kind of happy. So although we can say, yeah, there possibly may be some racial stuff going on, but maybe not. They're hiring black executives, so we can't be happy with that and then mad on the other side, because at least guys are getting upper office, like front office jobs. That's big. That's huge. You know what I mean?
But
that's real huge.
Again, when I see something like Josh McCown is being interviewed, I can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, it don't make sense.
I can't wrap my head around it. And you got Eric out there. You got Byron Leftwich, that I believe is going to be a good head coach at some point.
Right.
These guys are out there, and they deserve interviews.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, I still can't wrap my head around Josh McCown and getting an interview, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I don't get that either, man. But let's go to your favorite sport, which is the NBA. And the biggest headlines obviously are the Brooklyn Nets, right? You're a big Knicks fan, but the Brooklyn Nets are stealing all the headlines from you guys. And what are your thoughts on Brooklyn? Like, do you think that they actually have what it takes to get to an NBA final? Do you think that it's finals or bust? Like, what are your thoughts about that new trio that's over there?
When they just had Kyrie and Kevin Durant, I thought that going to the Eastern Conference Finals would be a good year.
Yeah.
When they added James Harden, they got to go to the finals now.
Okay.
No ifs, ands, or buts. They have you when you have those three caliber players on the same team, you can't fall short.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They can't.
I agree.
Fall short.
I definitely agree, man.
This is a roster that if it works, oh man.
Yeah, the thing is they don't have
but
enough.
If it doesn't work,
yeah, they don't have enough.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, they don't have enough, man. They
need defense.
They need defense. Where are they gonna find it from? Like, you saw, they lost back-to-back games to the Cavs. Back-to-back games to the Cavs. Why? Because they can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop nobody. They got all that offense. Yeah. The three of those guys can score 100 points total every night. Every night. And they will still lose. Yeah. And they'll still lose because their bench is awful.
They need some work.
Yeah. Where they going to get it from?
They have some work to do.
Where are they going to get it from?
That's the difficult part.
Yeah.
That's the difficult part. But, I mean, they have three offensive players. I mean, KD's the only guy that I know that plays defense.
Yeah.
But other than that, they need work.
Yo, they need a lot of work. DeAndre Jordan is shot. Jeff Green shot. I don't even know who else they got on that team. Who else they got on that team? They got a whole bunch of they got a whole bunch of G League guys on that team.
I can't tell you.
I don't know. They might have to get Stoudemire off that coaching bench and sue him up. They need to sue him up, or maybe Steve Nash needs to play. Just
because I saw some of the bench players come in and I had no clue who they were.
No clue. No clue who they are.
No clue who these guys were.
Nope. And they have no, like, here's my thing. No, go ahead.
But again, if it works, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to judge them off these two games. You know what I mean? Even though they should have beaten the Cavs, I'm not going to judge them because it's still, Kyrie is just coming back. James Harden is only, 2-3 games in?
Yeah. But
and there was no KD in the second game.
Right.
Yeah. So because the same thing happened with the Miami Heat when LeBron went over there.
Yeah.
They had a rough stretch.
Yeah.
But they have to play defense because I could already see that they cannot play defense. They don't have no top-notch defenders aside from KD. So there's work that needs to be done in Brooklyn.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of work. That's the difference between them and Miami, because Miami had some dogs on that defensive end of the floor. Like they didn't have a lot of big names, but they had a lot of veteran guys. Shane Battier, they had all these dudes that knew their roles and just locked in. Nets ain't got that. And I guess I think the buyout market is coming next month. So they look for them to get a lot of guys off that buyout market. I'm sure a lot of guys are gonna want to go to Brooklyn to sign up with this big top circus that's going on over there.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, but let's talk about your New York Knicks, man. The New York Knicks stand right now. They're 8-8. They look pretty good. They had a little struggle there for the last couple games, but they've looked better. Mitchell Robinson is really playing well. RJ Barrett is looking like he could be a star. So what are your thoughts on the Knicks, man? Because I know you're very passionate about your Knicks. You're very obsessive about your Knicks, and you are actually a madman when it comes to your Knicks.
I haven't smiled this hard in late January in years. It's been years since I've been able to smile in late January. They're number one in defense in the league.
Wow.
Who would have ever thought that this soon we would be able to say something like that?
Right. The Tom Thibodeau effect, man.
Yes. I'm excited for the future. I didn't expect them to be a playoff team this year. I still don't know if they're good enough for the playoffs. But what these guys have shown me, Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett, and Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin looks good when he's out there. What they've shown me, and these guys are all under 23 years old, except Randle, but all under 23. I'm excited for what the future brings, and we'll be one of those teams that's going to be consistently in the playoffs again that I've been waiting for years and years and years.
Yes. But see, you sound very, very calm. You sound very collected right now. But I know you, okay? Don't try to be this political guy now, because you, last few years, thought that the Knicks were going to get some big stars, and it didn't happen. So now, are you actually comfortable now that maybe it's time to do what the Oklahoma City Thunder have been doing all these years and just build your own stars? And once you build your own stars, then people will start coming instead of going the other way.
Once we didn't sign KD, I said, you know what? Let's stop with this free agent stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just build in with the draft, draft well.
Right.
And eventually, like what Brooklyn did, when these young guys start playing really good, we'll have guys that are going to want to come to play here, and we don't have to give up all of our assets to get.
Right. Kind of like a farm system type of thing, like baseball.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for the future, man. I can't wait. I think RJ Barrett is going to be the first homegrown all-star since KP, but that the KP situation didn't last too long.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to see these guys reach their primes, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, I've killed your Knicks over the years. Me and you go back and
Yes,
forth.
you have.
You're a Knicks fan. I'm a Laker fan. So we are destined to hate each other. So but I really enjoy watching this team this year. Like, they are watchable. They are exciting. They play with passion. They play with effort. They play on the defensive end. Julius Randle, I don't recognize that guy because I remember when he was a Laker. We saw the talent there. We saw the fact that he can be able to be multifaceted. He can handle the ball. He can pass. He can rebound. He's a physical guy. But now he's starting to put things together. He's starting to use his right hand more. He's more under control because, you're a Knicks fan. You can be able to attest to this. People wanted Julius Randle out of town after last year. They couldn't stand Julius Randle. Everybody's like, oh, he's a turnover. He's erratic. He's this and that. We need to get him out of here. But you're seeing a different guy. Like, he's actually, I don't know if it's the fact that he worked on his game or the fact that the coaching staff has really done a great job, kind of corralling him and slowing the game down for him. You know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts about Julius Randle?
Well, when Julius Randle was in LA, I wanted him to be a Knick. I in our group chat, I've mentioned that. When he was in New Orleans, I said I wanted this guy to be a Knick. When he came here and had that season last year, I was like, all right, maybe we made a mistake because that's the first start. Right. That's the first start with these Knicks. But what he has done this year, I know there's no all-star game this year, but they should have selection. This guy's an all-star.
Yeah.
He is definitely an all-star, and I wouldn't mind the Knicks keeping him.
Yeah.
One thing that I love about this Knicks team, and he's part of, the way that he leads, he's part of that. The past Knicks teams, when they lose, you see them, their body language, they give up. When they lose these games nowadays, they're still playing hard.
Yeah.
They still have defensive intensity. They can't hit shots maybe, but their defense is there. They're still trying to play hard.
Right.
And that's, that's the Thibodeau effect. And I think that Randle also, as being their best player, showing that he's not stopping, playing hard, it helps. So I would love to see him stick around, for the next couple of years.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I think that if they can be able to lock him into to an extension, I think the best time to do it will be soon, because if he continues to play like this, that price tag is going to go way up. So if they can be able to get 100%. Him at a reasonable 100%. Price, and still be able to build this team, I think that's the smartest thing to do. So yeah, I am very impressed with the Knicks. There's a lot of young teams that I guess that'll be a next question that I ask you. What other young teams do you see that really are impressing you in regards to how they're playing? Like just like the Knicks. The one team that I can really think about that really impresses me and I like where they're going are the Cleveland Cavaliers. That team, they have some young guys on that team, man. Andre Drummond has been very good for them. They have Colin Sexton. They have Darius Garland. They have Okobo, the new kid. They have some guys on this team, man. They're talented. What are your thoughts on them?
That's the team that I was going to say also.
Yeah.
The Cavs have shown, Colin Sexton is balling out of control.
He's an animal.
He's an amazing talent. So I think they are a really, really good team. I think the Chicago Bulls are a really good young team.
Yeah.
That they have a bright future. Those are probably the two teams that I would say that have a bright future ahead of them, aside from the Knicks also. Got to make sure I keep that in.
you always got to throw that Knick jab in there. I hear you, man. But I agree with you. I think the Bulls are good. I like the Pacers. The Pacers have always been a good team. The fact that they got Karis LeVert, he's gonna be a star. He's not playing right now, but once he gets healthy, that kid can be a perennial.
Oh, yeah.
He is talented. So what team in the Eastern Conference, and then we'll go to the West and we'll ask the same questions, but what team in the Eastern Conference has disappointed you so far this season?
Miami.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Miami. I think that they should have still been riding on that high, but I think they underperformed. Toronto's another one.
Yeah.
I think they're in the same categories. Those two teams, maybe it was just a lucky year for them, for the Heat, and then for the Raptors the year after Kawhi Leonard. But those two teams have underperformed and disappointing, and the Washington Wizards. But you know my feelings towards Russell Westbrook. I think we should have known this was coming.
We share that opinion about Mr. Westbrook. Yes, definitely. Yeah, we'll get into them a little after.
So you know, you get a guy like that, you think a team is going to be able to make a push for the playoffs, but these guys are going to be pushing for a lottery pick.
Yeah,
that's where they have it.
Exactly. Now I agree with you.
But yeah, I would say those three teams.
I agree with you. I think out of the two teams that you said, the Heat and the Raptors, I think the Raptors disappoint me a little bit more than the Heat, because the Heat, they have a young team. And when you have a young team, you know, it's very inconsistent. You can ride that wave and then it can actually start to struggle. There's a lot of kids that, you know, the fact that Tyler Hero's okay, but is he playing at the level that he was playing at last year? It's debatable. Like he's not bad, but I think people are starting to realize, like after last season, like, okay, the Heat are no joke. So we're going to bring our A game against them every night. They now have a target on their back because, you know, everybody was saying, oh, Giannis is going to go to the Heat. This player is going to go to the Heat.
Yeah.
The Heat became destination for every star player that was a free agent or who wanted to get traded. So now they have the spotlight and they're kind of, you know, they're not handling it too well.
So you know what's the funny thing when you asked who's a good young team, and who's a team that is disappointing. The Heat falls in both categories.
They fall in both categories because they have a lot of young guys. Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point. That's definitely a good point, man. But yeah, like, you know, going to the Raptors, they have a veteran team, and I guess we're starting to see that the talent level is not really there because they got Chris Boucher at the center position. I mean, he's just he looks like he's 6'11", 150 pounds. He's talented, but he's not a starting caliber type of guy. He's a bench guy, but they have a lot of holes to fill, and they can't fill them because they're Toronto. There's not a lot of talent that you can be able to funnel through there. You have to find talent. You have to get it G League wise or in free agency or, you know, the lower end free agency or in the draft. They have a talent discrepancy right now. And I knew that when they had to overpay for Van Vliet, they had to give OG Anunoby big money as well. And now you're relying on Pascal Siakam to be your every bucket guy. That's not a recipe for success. You know, when they had Kawhi, they had so many different phases of the game that worked. They had Marc Gasol, who was down there, that, you know, was so underrated. You're seeing the presence of him and Serge Ibaka leaving now. You're seeing the difference. They don't have that IQ. They don't have that rim protection. They don't have that outside shooting with Serge Ibaka or the passing ability from Marc Gasol or even the toughness and leadership from him. You're now having to rely on other guys for that. And I don't think Pascal Siakam is ready for that. Van Vliet, he's a good player, but you had to overpay for him. He's not worth the money that he's getting. So, it's tough for them. Yeah. And I think the Raptors are just going to go back to being an average basketball team. They had their run for the last 5 years or so. They're going to go back to being average or below average, and they're going to have to stockpile and retool again.
I agree. I think that Pascal is not a guy to lead a team. I think he's a solid 2 or even a number 3 on some other teams.
Right.
But he's not a guy that's going to lead this team into a consecutive playoff appearances. I don't see it.
Right. So let's head to the Western Conference. What team has surprised you the most? You know, what team is lived up to your expectations, and what team really has fallen below those expectations?
I think the Lakers are living up to their expectations.
They're champs, baby. They're champs.
Yeah, they're still going strong, and they got better.
Yes, they did.
With Dennis and with Mark. I think Mark watching him play on the floor. I mean, he's such an effortless player.
Right.
His, a good IQ helped a lot because I thought it was going to hurt them losing Rondo.
Yeah.
But then you got a guy like Gasol that could fill some of the spots that Rondo had. The Clippers look great.
Yeah.
I think that, but then again, it's Paul George. You look good now. What are you going to do when it's the playoffs?
Regular season Paul is here.
Yeah. He has to show up. I think the Suns see that Chris Paul effect.
Chris Paul effect is real, man.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
They look good. The Nuggets I believe they're like in 7th.
Yeah, the Nuggets right now they're in 8th place. They're actually tied for 7th. Yeah, tied for 7th. They're with the Mavs at 8 and 7. So
that's a disappointment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think going to, I agree with you with the Nuggets, but here's my problem with the Nuggets. I've had a problem with them all last season and the season before that.
What's that?
I don't think that the head coach is the right head coach for them. I just don't. I don't think that Malone is the guy.
Well, he should be put in the hot seat with this type of start. These guys are supposed to be a top 3 team in the league.
Right.
And they're not. I mean, we're only 15, 16 games in, yes. But it could be an avalanche. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he could be in the hot seat quite soon if things don't better in Denver.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. So what, other than the Lakers, what other team? You said the Suns. What do you think about the Jazz? The Utah Jazz right now are sitting in 3rd place in the Western Conference at I think, what are they, 11-4 or something like that? Like, what are your thoughts about them? Do you think that they actually they are a legit team? Because they were good last year as well, but they were always looked at as a one-man gang. Do you still feel that they're a one-man gang, or do you think that they have enough? Because remember, they lost Bogdanovich, last year, and he wasn't able to contribute in the playoffs. So maybe that's the reason why the Nuggets actually beat them, because they didn't have another guy that can be able to take the pressure off offensively off of Donovan Mitchell.
I think that we're seeing a superstar in Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, he's a bucket getter, man.
We're seeing a superstar. I mean, they do need to improve in some spots, but I believe they're real.
Really? So you think they're legit?
Yeah, I believe they because they've been a good team for the last 2 years or so.
Yeah, they've been good. Yeah, they've been solid. To
be the 3rd team right now, I mean, we are surprised maybe, but Donovan Mitchell is really that good. That's why I keep talking about him. He's really that good.
Yeah.
And he could get better. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, you've been preaching him to the heavens. You wanted him to be a Knick. Yeah. And they passed over him. They bypassed him. And listen, it happens. That's what the Knicks organization have done in the history.
That's what organizations have done. Not only the Knicks. That's what organizations have done. Giannis was a 13th pick.
Yeah. Listen, nobody,
something like that.
Nobody thought that Giannis was going to be this. No one. No one. So sometimes you just don't know. But with Mitchell, I think a lot of people, they bypass him because of his size, because he's not conventional 6'4", 6'5". He's more 6'1", 6'2". They didn't look at him as a prototypical shooting guard. But in this NBA game now, guards are getting smaller. They're not getting bigger. They're actually getting smaller. So, the game is getting smaller. You got guys that can play multiple positions now. Your centers are now 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
You don't have traditional big centers like Gobert anymore and Drummond. Like, those guys they're like dinosaurs. They come a dime a dozen.
It's a fast-paced game.
It's a fast-paced game. Yeah.
So that's one of the things with the Jazz is that who is Donovan's number 2? Are we gonna say it's Gobert?
And that's the problem. Like, if you're gonna say that Gobert is his number 2, it's a problem. I will say it's Bogdanovich. I think Bogdanovich is their number 2, but. And also, too, Jordan Clarkson is not playing too bad neither. Jordan Clarkson is is
But
pretty.
Donovan Mitchell doesn't have a solid number 2.
No. He doesn't.
He doesn't have a Paul George or a LeBron James, I'm going to say, because I think he's the number 2.
You need to stop. You need to stop, okay?
Or, you know,
Stop right now.
Have That's one thing that's missing
stop
from,
right now.
Utah.
But yeah, but
You know,
I was with you though, because the thing is, when the season finished, right, for Utah, I said if they want to help Donovan Mitchell, they will trade Rudy Gobert. If you trade Rudy Gobert, you can be able to change the dynamic of this team, make them faster, get him another guard on the outside, and he can be able to have that 1-2 combo. And then you can just go get yourself a rim protector. You don't need a Rudy Gobert making $30+ million a season. You can get a guy that's making $10 to $12 million a season and do the same thing that Rudy Gobert is. Not saying that I'm not trying to take away from his ability on the defensive end. He's a back-to-back defensive player of the year, but you know,
he's not a number 2.
He's not a number 2 guy. He's not a scorer. You're paying a guy that much money to rebound and block shots.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Do you think that'll get to the point where Donovan Mitchell is asking for his trade?
He just signed that big contract over the summer, so I think he's very happy in Utah. But I think that once as the years go on and he starts to have more first round exits, he's gonna say, hey, listen, guys, I need more help, and you guys probably need to switch this up. Like Rudy Gobert's contract, when you think about that in the next 4 or 5 years, that's not gonna age well. It's not gonna age well. It's not gonna age well.
No,
so they have to find a way to get from under that contract and get smaller, get faster, and play, you know, that style of basketball, because Donovan Mitchell, he excels in that type of style.
They have to build around him.
They have to build around him. Exactly. They have to build around him. I agree. Now, the team that I really don't want to talk about, but I would be remiss if I don't speak about it because you are so obsessed with this, man. Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors right now are 8-7. I thought that they would be 1-14 at this point, because they have no talent except James Wiseman, and that's what I said. That's what I said. They have no talent except James Wiseman.
Man,
but somebody has appeared. And they're changing my opinion. So, you know, what are your thoughts on the guy that's wearing the number 30 jersey?
Steph Curry is unreal. How many times have you heard me say that?
Too many times.
Unreal. He's unreal. There was a play that he had against San Antonio.
Oh yeah.
I watched that 50 times, and I was like, that's the IQ to do that. To have a defender pop up to you in a second and know what you're gonna do to get to that basket. That guy is one of the greatest players I've ever seen play.
Steph Curry. Listen, I've given Steph Curry a lot of flack over the years. I still continue to give him a lot of flack because I hate his demeanor on the basketball court. But this year, I had said before the season, if he shows me that he can be able to carry this team to the playoffs or even on the cusp of the playoffs, he has my respect, because that's what you want to see out of your quote unquote franchise guy. I never thought that he was that type of guy where he needs more help. He's always had a lot of help in Golden State, but now, you know, I'm seeing that he really has the ability to carry a team. So, you know, we'll see if this continues. If it does continue, then, you know, you definitely have to now talk about Steph Curry in a different way. I was always saying that he was one of the greatest shooters, if not the greatest shooter of all time. But now if he's able to carry this dumpster fire of a roster to the playoffs, I can't really hate on him too much.
Once Klay Thompson went down, I thought it was going to be like last year. This team is not going to do anything.
Right.
So I'm very surprised that they are where they are.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. But the one person that's still a disaster is Draymond Green. Draymond Green, I saw a stat line the other night. I don't know if it was probably a couple weeks ago. He had like 2 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. I'm like, you paying this man $20 million? That's his stat line? What?
it only works when that team is full.
Yeah.
Draymond is not a guy that you could count on.
No.
Only when the team is full, where he has less to do. Good
Right.
defensive player, but didn't need to do much because they had, Klay Thompson, and they had when KD was there, Andre Iguodala. He's not a guy that could help lead this team. This is all Steph Curry.
Right. I agree, man. I definitely agree. So, what are your thoughts on the Sixers? Do you think the Sixers are legit, or do you think that they're just riding a wave right now?
They're riding. I can never think that they're legit.
Why are you hating on the Sixers, man? Come on, man.
And I like Embiid. I really like Embiid, but it seems like every time they get into the playoffs, Simmons doesn't want to play. He just hurts himself. They always have this bad luck. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
So
and the part that scares me is the fact that they got Doc Rivers now, the biggest choke artist in NBA history, as their head coach.
Yeah, I'm not sold on them.
Yeah.
So I mean, they'll make the playoffs here, but who would they face in the first round? I mean, probably the Knicks. We're gonna beat them.
Knicks ain't getting into the playoffs, man. Knicks ain't getting into the playoffs.
If the season ended right now, Knicks are in the 8th seed.
Knicks ain't getting to no damn playoffs, Alberto. They getting there. They're not getting there.
If they continue to play this way, we're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Knicks, if there's a perfect spot for them in regards to seeding wise, I think the Knicks can get to 6. I don't think that they can get any higher than 6.
No.
6 may be 6 to 9, because there's the play-in game this year. 6 to 9, yes. I think they're gonna have that's where they're gonna fall. So I forgot about that. Yeah, man, the playing game actually makes things a little interesting. It gives teams, because back in the day, you had a team in the Western Conference that went 50 and 32, and they end up losing the tiebreaker, and they don't make the playoffs. At least they have a chance to play themselves into it. So, there's I like I like this move by the NBA. Now, do you like the mid-season tournament? I am not a fan of that. Has that been approved?
I don't think it has. But when the idea was brought up, I was not into it.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be only one goal, and that's to win an NBA championship.
Right, like this is not soccer. This is not international soccer where you have all these other cups and stuff that you can win in between the season. Like, it's nonsense. What is that doing for anybody? Play the season. If you make the playoffs, cool. If not, you're going home for the summer. That's it.
I like the play-in tournament. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
It's almost like the wild card, right? Like a wild card.
Exactly.
So I like that.
Exactly. So before
like an in-season tournament now.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So let's talk a little baseball. Let's talk a little Yankee baseball. You're a Yankee fan. I'm a Mets fan. So I was really sad when you guys signed DJ LeMahieu. I thought he was gonna leave. I was doing backflips because he was talking to the Blue Jays. He's talking to everybody. He's talking to the Dodgers. I'm like, yes, you're going to lose your best player from last season. I can't wait. And he ends up signing 6 years, $90 million. So what are your thoughts about DJ LeMahieu? Are you happy that he got the 6 years at $90 million? Because that, to me, is a steal. That's a bargain.
Yeah. I mean, the value we got for him. One thing that I told some of my friends that are Yankee fans, that they were really nervous that he was leaving. I said, he's not leaving. I knew he was not leaving.
Yeah,
he's not leaving. He loves playing here.
Right.
He loves playing here. So with the Yankees, I think Brian Cashman, what he did was great. He just said, all right, play the field, see what type of money comes back. And he wasn't getting that. I think maybe his age played a factor in it. But he always said that he wanted to stay in New York. He wanted to be a Yankee. So we had the upper hand.
But do you think that sometimes Brian Cashman is a little egotistical, because for even the risk of losing a DJ LeMahieu was very high, to tell a player to go test the market and see what his value is. Brian Cashman has always been a GM that doesn't want to give a guy anything over 5 years. He's not comfortable giving anything over 5 years. That's why Robinson Cano ended up leaving the Yankees.
Yeah.
Robinson Cano wanted to be a Yankee for life, but Cashman wasn't willing to commit all those dollars. And, do you think that there's times where Cashman overplays his hand?
Actually, I actually don't. I think that with DJ, I've listened to interviews that he did after the season. He was saying, DJ is our priority, but we're going to do things that is right for the team, which I guess is that overpaying or anything like that. I think I don't have anything bad to say about Brian Cashman. Him himself brought us 4 championships. I think he's a great GM. What he did to get DJ was great.
Right.
Gave us room to play around some more,
Yeah, no, definitely. Where do you think the Yankees can go this year? Do you think that they have a chance to get to the World Series?
Absolutely.
Do you think that they're the World Series favorites?
No.
Who are the World Series favorites in the AL?
Oh, in the AL? Oh, yes. I thought you meant like to win the World Series.
Yeah, just to get there.
No, I would say we're the favorites, and I think the Dodgers again.
Yeah, wait. You said what? Who?
The Dodgers.
Oh, you mean the New York Dodgers?
The LA Dodgers.
No, you talking about the Mets, right? You the Mets got a you talking about the Mets got a chance to get the World Series.
Hey, man.
This is what you should be saying. Okay, listen. You are on my show. You are on my show. You are not going to talk bad about my Mets here. You better say some nice things about the Mets, okay?
I'll say this. When you asked me about the Knicks, I said it's been a long time since I've been able to smile in late January. When's the last time you've been able to smile in the late summer?
Listen, hold on, wait. You see, this is why us Met fans feel so attacked by you guys, because you just have this amnesia that we didn't exist 5 years ago. We were in the World Series in 2015.
Yeah, okay? But you look at what happened in that World Series.
Yes, what happened in that World Series? Daniel Murphy had like 18 errors. You had Jerry's Familia blowing saves. That's what happened.
What happened?
You had Matt Harvey choking. That's what happened.
The Mets were gonna Met, and that's what they did. The Mets met.
Well, listen, the Mets are not metting anymore because
I tell you this. You're right.
We have new ownership. Mr. Steve Cohen. Everybody needs to pray. Anybody who's a Mets fan, if you see Steve Cohen walking around, make sure that you throw your body in front of him and make sure you protect that man's life, because what he has done is listen, I've been a Mets fan my entire life. You know this. And I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel because we're operating like a big team. We're operating like a big market team. We have Lindor. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Listen, I've always said to my Met fan friends, I would say, I'm so jealous of the Yankees because they always find a way to get a superstar positional player. Yeah. Whether it's through the farm system, whether it's through free agency, they always get their guy. It's that other teams. Look at Mike Trout. Look at, look at Ken Griffey. We've never had a guy like that. The closest guy we had like that was Darryl Strawberry, and we all know what happened with Darryl Strawberry. Yeah. He ended up winning the World Series with you guys. Now he won one with us too, but he won one in pinstripes, and it's just like
You want your own guy.
We want our own guy. The closest that I've had in my generation to our guy is David Wright. David Wright is my Derek Jeter. Love David Wright, but the spinal stenosis, it ripped away his career. And, we didn't get the chance to see him hit 3,000. We didn't get the chance to see him hit 400 home runs. All of these things we never got a chance to see. But now we actually have a guy.
You guys, okay, so you guys have a bright future.
Special. No. Our future's now. We got the best pitching staff. We got the best pitching staff in the National League right now.
I agree.
Right now.
But Lindor is a free agent after this year.
We gonna lock him up. He getting the bag. Steve Cohen gonna say how much you want.
If you don't, it should, because if he doesn't, what a fail that would be.
All right, but what? Okay,
He has to open up that wallet for Lindor to keep him.
He will open up the wallet for Lindor. He definitely will open up the wallet for Lindor. I don't think that you approve a deal like that between Sandy and the guy that's no longer here. We're gonna talk about him in a little bit, and Steve Cohen without the guarantee or without the conversation that listen, it's gonna take us 200 million. It's going to take us $200 million to get this guy. You know what I mean? Like, to lock him up and be a Met for the next 6 years, we're going to have to give him 200. So, that I don't think Steve Cohen has a problem with that. He's the richest owner in baseball. So, we're going to throw the bag at him. He's going to be happy. We're going to throw the bag at Conforto. We're going to throw the bag at Nimmo. We're going to throw the bag at everybody that needs to stay here. Throw the bag at the Big Pen as well. My big first baseman, I love him. We have a team that can be able to compete this year. Syndergaard is back. He's going to be back. We have DeGrom. He's the best pitcher in New York. And that's, you have to agree. You have, come on, man. Come on. Listen, as good as Garrett Cole is, I love Garrett Cole, but DeGrom is just a little better. That's all I'm saying. That's a little better. He's a little better. He's a little better, man.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Garrett Cole. But
of course, you're gonna go with Garrett Cole because he's a Yankee.
DeGrom is a great pitcher, great pitcher.
Goat.
But we got to see him in some big games.
Well, listen, we saw him in big games in 2015, and he delivered. Okay, he delivered. So
but Garrett Cole is proven big game pitcher.
Yeah, and he's also proven to be a cheater too.
Nah, he didn't know. He ain't know.
But let's talk about the fiasco that almost was. It felt very Met-like until they resolved it quickly. That's what shocked me.
That's what I loved. I loved that.
The fact that they did not let this thing hang around too long, and then Steve Cohen he put out a press release after that. That was impressive because that would have never happened under the Wilpons. Jared Porter, I don't know what the hell is going on with that man, but the fact that he hid being a stalker, this was nuts. Yeah. This was nuts. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that there's a lot of things that need to change in the sports world.
Yeah.
You have women that are becoming coaches, refs, and women that are analysts and journalists.
Right.
That mentality that these players have needs to stop.
Right.
The woman that he sent 62 messages that went unresponded.
Unresponsive, right.
She used to be a reporter or a scout, something like that. She
with
left,
the Cubs. Yeah.
She left the baseball because she felt that she would be demonized.
Right. If she would have came out, yeah.
If she would have came, that's crazy. So I mean, there's a lot. Guys got to stop thinking that way.
Yeah, man.
Because they're a sports star or have a high position, that they can talk to these women that are doing their job in a certain way like that. So I was happy that he got fired immediately. He was fired like at 8:00 in the morning. It was immediate. So I give Steve Cohen credit for that.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. Like, once I saw the report come out, I was like, yeah, he's gone. Like, there's no way he's going to be able to survive this. And he won't get another job, maybe ever. Like, this is it for him.
He shouldn't.
Yeah.
He shouldn't. I mean, he should go get help if he has an issue.
Right.
But I can't see this guy working in baseball again.
Yeah, and I agree, man. I definitely agree. But it was a breath of fresh air to actually see your owner step up and say, yo, we have a 0 tolerance policy. If you do something, you're out of here. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna deal with this no more. This is not your same Mets anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I really, really respect that. I think that, like I said, I'm in a daze. I don't know how to feel as a Met fan anymore because I'm so used to being mad at my ownership. Yeah. Now I can't be mad. So maybe So like, what is the feeling now? Sometimes it used to be, okay, screw the Wilpons. I'm gonna go to Citi Field and root for the team. Now it's, I love Steve Cohen and I'm also gonna root for the team. Like, what? I don't know what it's like to be like a really, really happy fan. I'm used to being miserable and happy. Now I'm full happy. I don't get it.
That's my feeling with the Knicks. I'm a big Dolan guy now. I love James Dolan. So
hold on, you still love James Dolan after what he did to Charles Oakley, man? Huh?
I mean, it was hard to see, but then again, I've met Charles Oakley, so I know I've seen him.
He's a
I
wild
didn't talk
card.
to him, but I saw him.
He's a wild card.
He's wild. I saw him at a casino, you know, by himself at a table getting drunk. I said, yeah, this guy's wild. No, he's wild. He's wild. So with that, yeah. But you know, I'm forgiving James Dolan.
Okay.
Forgive him. Let him play his guitar. Stay away from the team. Play your guitar.
Exactly. Just if you want to do a halftime show, do a halftime show with your band and get back into your press box. You know?
Let Leon Rose do what he do. Let Tom Thibodeau do what he do.
I respect it, man. I like I said, man. I like the direction of where the Knicks are going. Like they finally realized that they gotta stop chasing big names and they gotta start making their own names. Because if you
with the Mets, like Steve Cohen, the way he interacted with fans on the first week when he bought the team, I love that.
That's what I'm saying.
I love the firing.
It's uncommon. I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I was watching that press conference. I was just like, this is the owner of the team doing a Q&A with his fan base. What?
With the fans.
What? Like, and then we get Lindor. Awesome. And then even before we got Lindor, there were talks about Nolan Arenado. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Who?
Yeah.
Like, we've never had no talks like that before. Like, come on, man. Oh, man.
It reminds me of Mark Cuban.
Yes, he does have a little Cuban in him.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So I think, you know, both teams have a bright future. I think the Knicks have a bright future. I think the Mets have a bright future. And, you know, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But
and the Yankees are the Yankees.
Yeah, you know, the Yankees.
That's one thing that I'm happy I chose as a kid was to be a Yankee fan. Because I wouldn't know any type of winning.
Well, listen,
wasn't for them.
You don't have to have a backup team, which is good. I do. Okay, I had to have a backup team growing up. Yeah. I'm a Mets fan and I'm also a Dodgers fan, so I am fine. Both my teams look good. Yeah. They look great. They have good future. Yeah. So I'm very happy, very, very happy. But look, man, it's been a great conversation with you, Alberto. You know, I thought that we would argue more, but you know, we're all right. We're all right. Well, I might have to find some topic that's going to spark you and really get you going.
Once these seasons, you know what, it would have been about the Knicks, but I can't be upset. I'm so damn happy.
Yeah, I can't be
upset.
I was waiting all these months to come in here and bash you, and the fact that the Knicks are actually playing good and they look good, I can't do that. So my entire show was messed up because the Knicks are now a good team. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. I don't know how to.
Because you know that's the one that roused me up. Is the Knicks. That's the one that roused me up.
Yeah, because you're a madman.
And I can't be roused up.
Well, listen, I can still get you with this. Though. I can still get you about this. You need to give up on Frank Ntilikina. Give up on Frank Ntilikina. It's a wrap for him. All right, it's time for him to go. Frank Ntilikina needs to go.
If there's one thing I'm mad about right now is that I have not seen Frank on the floor in a long time.
You ain't gonna see him
again. If that's what's working,
keep him there.
Sorry, Frank.
Keep him there.
But they love him in France, so
yeah, he can go back there. He can definitely go back there. Fine.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and you know what's going on, like you know what you got planned for the future, my man.
So I got a lot of things coming up right now. I'm doing some work with some musical artists out here in New York City and Los Angeles. You can find me on Instagram at Afreshh, AFRESHH. And hopefully we're going to have a lot of things coming out. As far as filming, I'm going to meet with a mutual friend of ours in LA too to talk about some things that we should be working on soon.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
Yeah, just look out. There's going to be stuff coming out, man.
Yeah,
it's the time for us to all do what we love as you're doing what you love. And I've loved seeing you do that. And I can't wait to be back on here again, man.
Nah, definitely, man. I appreciate that and continue to keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, we've always been pushing you to go into film. You've always been that guy since I've known you. So, it's time that, you do exactly what you want to do because the time is now. And, I'm waiting for that first project because I'm going to be all over it. I'll be promoting it like it's my own. So,
yeah, brother, it's coming.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for that. But I'll definitely talk to you
Appreciate
soon. Once mid-season, I'll get you back on here, and hopefully the Knicks will be 20 games on the 500. So I can be. We'll
be talking about the playoff run. The playoff run we're gonna go on.
Yeah, there ain't gonna be no playoff run. Ain't gonna be no playoff run. All right, my man.
All right, brother.
I'd like to thank my man Alberto for coming on the show. Has a lot going for him right now. Aspiring producer. He's definitely gonna do big things. So. As long as he doesn't talk about the Knicks with me all the time, me and him can agree and leave LeBron alone. Coming up after the break, the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week, on a Saturday. It's all leaving.
Yo, what up? It's your boy DJ G Money, representing that Flip the Script podcast. But listen, right now I'm listening, I'm tuned in, I'm tapped in to a brand new podcast called the All Even Podcast. With my man Barry Grant. Yo, B, what's up, man? Congrats on the new podcast. I'm listening right now. I'm tuned in. Fire, all even. We here. Let's go.
This is Cigar Gents and Gals. Just want to give a shout out to All Even Podcast, the best sports podcast out there. Keep up the amazing work. Also check us out at cigargentsandgals.com. We're everyday apparel for cigar smokers. Let's get it.
What's going on? What's up with you? It's your boy, the Candyman, the ALFRE to the D. It's your boy, Alfred from the Rap Lab Podcast.
And it's the one and only True G. Just call me the QG from the Rap Lab Podcast.
And you tuned in to All Even with Barry Grant.
Boy, that shit crazy.
Welcome back, y'all. So we at the main event. The greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy.
We pick candidates on Tuesday and Saturday, and then we pick the winner on that Saturday show. So Tuesday, the fact that we didn't have a show, we have one Dummy of the Week candidate this week, but it's only one that's needed. May I have the drum roll, please? And the winner is Jared Porter, former GM of the New York Mets. Jared Porter is my
Dummy. Yeah.
because this guy is something special. So when he worked for the Cubs, there was this sideline reporter, this woman that worked there, and he must have had it in his head that was his girlfriend. So he's texting her every day, hey, how you doing? And he's not getting a response. So maybe he says, all right, well, maybe, she's not available. Maybe she's busy. So he continues to text her. How you doing? How's everything going? Let's meet up later. No answer. After the 60th message, she probably says to him, bruh, what are you doing? How did you get my number? So this entire time, Jared Porter thought that he was in a relationship with a girl that didn't know who the hell he was. He's nuts. This is a guy that probably thought getting picked last on the baseball diamond or for a basketball team or pickup game meant that you were the best guy to get picked up. You just didn't get the memo. They picked you because they needed 10 or they needed just enough to play the game. You obviously was like, man, I'm the best player here. I was the last one chosen. I'm the GOAT. No. You're the Billy Goat. There are so many women out there. The fact that you're stalking this one, it just doesn't make sense to me. Just move on. Move on. And then you didn't have the balls to tell your employer what was going on. No. You hit it like your dick pic was going to be preserved in her phone. Like she was going to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep this because, man, he has a nice one. Wrong. The fact that you were a loser, the fact that she didn't like you, and the fact that you probably wasn't even packaged. She's like, I got to get him. I got to get this man. for ruining my life because he ruined my career. Now I can't let him walk, especially because he ain't packing. Get this bum out of here. And the fact that the Mets jumped on this early, kudos to them, man. Because if this was 5 years ago, they probably would have hid this under the mat and tried to save face. No. You're gone. Grand opening, grand closing. That's exactly how your career should be. You should never work in baseball again. But I do know who's hiring. I do know what's hiring. Burger King is hiring. They're always hiring. So you need to fill out an application there. Because when it comes to sports, no. You're not going to be able to coach in college. You're not going to be able to be a scout or an executive anywhere. And don't even think about trying to go to the lower levels with no kids. They don't want no parts of you. They don't want no parts of you because ain't you the guy that sent all those text messages to that girl and she just curved you? You're a loser. I don't want to be coached by you. I don't want any advice from you to try to get to the next level. What can you tell me about my career and what can you tell me about women? You failed at both. So Jared Porter, you may be the biggest loser in your house and you're a disgrace to your family, but you're a winner for Dummy of the Week. That's all for this show. I'll see you guys next week. But I definitely like to close the show out, for one of the fallen legends. Hank Aaron died, and, it hurts my heart. So I'm definitely going to leave the last words to an all-time great, an all-time legend. So until then, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.
And I can remember very clearly that Monday, the day that you hit the home run, the parents and the two brothers and I gathered around the television set. It was very similar, it had to be, to where perhaps you and others back on April 15th, 1947, gathered around the radio for Jackie Robinson. I mean, you were our Jackie Robinson. Did you get the sensation of how important you were to the black community with what you were doing, what you were going through?
Yes, I did. In some ways, I felt the importance of what I was doing was really sending a signal to the world, was telling people that, hey, yeah, all you wanted to do was have the playing field level. Just give me an opportunity. Yes, I felt that way. I felt that way that not only that I had the world on my shoulders as far as baseball was concerned, but I also had the world on my shoulders to demonstrate to people that, hey, just give me an opportunity. But at that same time, if you think about it, Dr. King was marching and the civil rights was at its peak, and we were telling people just give us a chance to drink water out of a fountain, or go to the bathroom, or go to anywhere, really. And that all of those things had something to do with the way I was doing as far as playing baseball.
You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at All Even Podcasts. Listen to the show on Anchor, Spotify, SoundCloud, and wherever podcasts are available. And check out my YouTube channel, All Even Podcasts. And don't forget to share, like, and hit that subscribe button.